tough battle, obviously, Richmond, isn't it? What have you been able to sort of glean from them that you focus on going into Saturday?
Yeah, it will be a tough battle. It's a big game for us in particular. We feel like, obviously, we're still building our footy to play the way we want to play, and last week was a good step in that direction. And Richmond have had a really good start to the year. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting game for us. We feel like the hourglass has been tipped from the start, and that sand is kind of coming to an end. And this week we want to make sure that that we play our best footy against a strong team. They're a really strong midfield group. The way they get the ball from inside to out and move the ball with some real efficiency is something we need to make sure that we try and stifle. They've got some really strong firepower up front. Tamara Luke's been a really good addition to their team, and Brennan obviously, and Grice is playing. They're in good form. So yeah, and their defence is holding up really well against some good quality forwards. So yeah, it's going to take some really strong conviction around stoppage, how we move the footy, win possession first, but taking our chances in our front half. I think we're getting a really good look in our front half. It's just about a matter of making the most of those opportunities in front of goal. That it's been well publicised the last couple of weeks that we're kind of missing our chances. So to take a few of those and put some scoreboard pressure on is going to make a big difference.
6-day break, does that mean you go back to something that resembles a normal build-up to a game as opposed to those back-to-back 4 to 5 days that you had?
Yeah, we planned that way, mate. And that was coming out of the back of the really highly congested space. We'd planned to have a bit more of a regular week this week, but off the back of travel to Sydney last week, it was 28 degrees. It was a pretty taxing game in regards to the heat and the way we played the game. We kind of pulled it back a little bit this week to kind of put a full stop on that congested period. So a bit of a lightened week just to get the girls ready to go and best prepared mentally and physically. So I think next week we'll probably go back into what a regular week looks like for us. But it was a nice kind of full stop to what was been a really busy schedule.
Sermon and Featherstone play?
Yep. Likely to play, yeah. We just actually put them through a bit of a test there now, so we're waiting on the results around that. But what we saw was pretty positive. But yeah, we'll get those results shortly.
Carl's about to close you as well off the TBC, and do you see her playing a role in the last 4 games?
I hope so. I hope we've got more than 4 games, which to give her a bit more of a chance. But I spoke to her this morning. She's out of the moon boot. The surgeon said that she's well ahead of expectation in regards to her comeback to be ready to play. She's in really good spirits, which put me in good spirits. So yeah, there's hope that she can get out in the field.
Has she started running and doing?
She's in that phase now, so she's been given the all clear. She's been doing a lot behind the scenes in regards to her conditioning and touch while she's been unable to do much movement. But she feels great. Foot feels really good. Now it's just a matter of if there's enough time to get her into a position to play.
Well, I was going to say, what's the best case then, Dan? Obviously, you've got 4 left, but it's not this week, so that's 3.
Yeah.
Probably not Brisbane the week after.
No, we're probably looking at might be West Coast or Adelaide would be the best case scenario. Probably more Adelaide, to be fair. And if there's a postseason for us, that would be likely as well. Yeah.
But if you say you were done going to the Adelaide game, potentially wouldn't worry about it.
I think I'd love to play her if there was a chance to play and she was healthy. I think for her to be able to play at least some football this year would be of real benefit. So that would be my plan. If there's nothing left to play for in regards to a finals campaign, I think there's a lot to gain from playing players to, again, another chance to play a game of footy. So if she's healthy, we'll play her, yeah.
How's Amy McDonald tracking as well?
Yeah, good. Yeah, another one. Just we're talking about lots of injuries, aren't we? Yeah, she's fine. So she's probably maybe less than a fortnight away from playing. So that's really positive for us as well. She actually trained with us today, so she's up and about moving, which is good.
You brought obviously contested kind of ball without her, but Bella Smith comes in on the weekend and was able to kind of chip in there in terms of just those kind of metrics of that middle midfield and how you still kind of cover maybe being out. Are you happy with what you've seen from that group and then adding Bella or Caitlin through there as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was. We talked about Caitlin Thorne coming in to give us a bit of a spike in contested footy and some energy. The way she plays as a first-year player, which was great. So she did the same thing on the weekend against the Swans. Had some critical moments in the game where her pressure was enough to create a turnover and opportunity. And Bella's the same. That was why she was brought in off the back of preparing to play off the back of a bit of a interrupted pre-season for her. So she's now at the level for her to be able to have an impact in the game. So she come on and did what she does best. She was really strong around contests. She kept her feet. She cut and drove with the ball. And she's a real contested player. So we need to do things a little bit differently with Amy not being in the team. And we feel like we've got maybe 6 to 7 players that we can throw through the midfield that can have an impact, whether it be inside or out. And Caitlin and Bella have come in and played that role really well. So it was good reward for Bella. She had one game at Brisbane, a debut game with us. So she's just hungry to play footy, and so is Thorny. She just wants to play footy. And you throw in Becky and you throw in Georgie and Nina and these girls and Darcy that come in and support that role as well. Like we're pretty blessed to have a really strong group, and we're very happy with the way Darbs and Feathers and Mel Bragg played last week in regards to just giving us a chance in our stoppage phase with the ruck work they're doing. Because it's no surprise a little bit undersized in that space, and they're doing really well for us.
If Gabby's right, we go with the Bragg Derby combination in the ruck and let Gabby maybe play that role she can play inside forward.
Yeah, potentially. Like that's the thing. We've got a bit of flexibility with that. Braggy can play defence or support the ruck. Feathers can play forward, support the ruck. Darbs can play either as well. We'll keep some of those options open, but certainly there's a potential triple threat combination that can go through the rucks because they've got some really solid tall players in there as well. So we'll keep those options open.
You got through that period with actually managing anybody, we never saw officially managing anybody's name coming out of the team. Are you pleased with the resilience your group showed, and I suppose how players have developed physically and probably mentally to cope with that compressed schedule? Yeah,
definitely. We had a meeting this morning, and I mentioned the same thing to them. It's like, don't forget how lucky we are and how happy we are as a program to get through that period as well as we did in terms of our mental preparation. Our physical preparation was up to the level. Yeah, we had some hits and misses with our performance in that space, but it was a really trying period, and we're coming out of the end of that now, and there's going to be some residual effect off the back of it, no doubt. It's been well publicised around the last month's been, well, this week's the last week, but the last month has been really taxing on all of the programs, staff, players, families, the whole lot, those who are travelling and whatnot. So, couldn't be more proud of the way the group have prepared, executed and fronted up again, and not one player on our list has said, look, I need a break, because they're just hungry to play and they've best prepared themselves to play. So as a coach, I couldn't ask more to have a whole playing group saying, just play me, coach, in regards to maybe I need a rest. Yeah.
Can I ask as well, obviously some comments and the wider discussion around the competition. I think Kelly Underwood said the other day, just maybe deserving a little bit more from the AFL in terms of grounds or these compressed fixtures impacting maybe injuries, conditions. Obviously you're privileged to play at GMHBA, but do you have any thoughts on that of potentially where we need to kind of move towards, or where the players are kind of logging in or wanting to kind of see a little bit more going forward?
I think it's just time. I think what we've learnt off the back of this last month is that, as much as I just mentioned to Kingy around, I'm proud of the group and the way they've managed their physical and mental load, it has still taken its toll. And as I said, it's not just on the playing group but on the staff. There's talk next year of having the 11 weeks or 12 weeks potentially next year, having their own 12 weeks to play the games as opposed to cramming them in. That'd be a start, to make sure that there's time to recover, there's time to actually, regenerate. We found this year that, or this last month or so, that you go into a game, you review it, the next day you're opposition previewing, you're doing line meetings around reviewing while you're looking to a game that you're coming up in 3 days' time, and like that. That's not really conducive to high performance. And you try and throw in the time to then recover, prepare, train. We haven't really done any proper match practice or football training in about 4 weeks. We're doing craft, we're doing, regen, we're doing recovery, but expecting our non-selected players as well to be ready to play at any given time. And there's just not enough football to go around. So it needs the time. Yes, I think the players are very thankful that you're getting more games, which we are all craving for. If it goes to another game next year, great. But as it's been said, that it might be its own standalone 12 weeks, perfect. That will certainly break the week up into what it needs to be to get the best out of what you see on the field. Kingy mentioned before about no omissions or managed players. There are some teams who are down to the last scraps of who's available, and the whole competition suffers off the back of the talent not being out there. So it's about making sure our best talent's in the field.
You've seen, I guess, some of the games as well, because, you guys played GMHBA, and then have you seen in terms of like different ones, of when you go to some community venues, or, two of your wins have been in quite warmer or nicer conditions compared to the
Fair weather team, are we at the moment? Yeah.
like, things like that. They mentioned the high scoring game against Hawthorn was, here at a great ground, not much wind. Have you seen those kind of variables play out across your game?
Definitely. I mean, we're talking about Richmond today with our meeting. It's like they've had three or four games where it's been howling wind, pouring rain, thunder, interruptions, lightning. It's been common for the last few weeks with other games as well. But if you were to play that game like we've had a couple of our games where it's been 28 degrees, inside a nice Tier 1 stadium where the conditions kind of conducive to good footy, it certainly helps. It'd be nice to be able to play under a roof where you're out of the elements and you can see the best of what the fundamentals of the team can deliver. But it is what it is at the moment. So we go to Punt Road on Saturday, and Punt Road's a great boutique stadium. Beautiful. Love playing there. It's a great game. Icon Park's a brilliant stadium as well. There are some really good resources and facilities out there. Even Henson Park on the weekend, to be fair, it's a magnificent ground. It's that beautiful cauldron, the crowd are up above you. If the AFL can put some funds into facilitating the facility itself to bring up to a bit of a level where the girls can utilise the ground and the atmosphere in the area. It's those things. If you can make some enhancements around that, brilliant. Yeah. Then there's Casey and there's Frankston. It's like, well, that's where it can get a bit dicey with the conditions and the time of the year as well. Not perfect, but I think we're on the right track.
Shelley's got 75 games this week. Can you talk to us about the impact on the group that she's had since coming across from Melbourne?
Amazing. I can't understate how positive she's been since she arrived. It's funny when she first walked through the door as a potential pick. She made it clear to Brett Johnson herself. She's like, look, I'm not a first-year player. I'm at the very end of my career. But she still had so much to offer. It was like, you don't need to stress, Shelley. Like, the leadership you've got, you're a past captain of Melbourne, experienced player in big games. That has then resonated to the rest of the team. And our younger group at the time, who are now third, fourth-year players, have benefited greatly off the back of her being around and giving support and mentoring. And the way she plays the game, like, she's a beast. Like, she's a contested player. She's got great fundamental. So we've learned a lot from her, from a staffing perspective. Her teammates have learned a lot as well. She's one of the hardest workers. Like, she works on a farm. She's just always working, but she finds time to make sure that her football doesn't suffer as well, and she's got time for her teammates, and we're all the better for it. So 75 games is amazing. First cat to do it in our program. So it's a huge milestone. We've had a few games over the last 3 or 4 weeks where we've been celebrating 25 games, 50 games, and this is where our list is at the moment. So we're starting to hit those markers and measures around experience, and she's our most experienced at this point in time.